Hello, everybody. Welcome to Salt Talk with Jermaine Alberty, where we explore faith, culture, mental health, and the deeper question of life. I am your host, Jermaine Alberty, and here at the Salt Talk, we believe that when you add salt to something, it enhances the flavor, and sometimes the conversation we have here are meant to add depth, reflection, and perspective to how we understand the world around us. Today's episode is titled, Zombies Live Among Us. The Walking Dead. This is Jermaine Alberty, and you're listening to the Salt Talk. Now, wait a minute. Before you turn this off thinking we're about to talk about a horror movie, stay with me, because I'm not talking about the undead from Hollywood. I'm talking about the living dead among us. People who are alive physically, but disconnected emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. In other words, the walking dead. There's this cultural fascination with zombies. And over the past 2 decades, our culture has become so fascinated with zombies by ways of movies, television shows, video games. Entire entertainment franchises have been built around the ideal of the dead walking among the living. Here's a thought that struck me recently. What if zombies are not just fictional characters? What if the reason this idea resonates with us is because we recognize something familiar? Because in many ways, zombies already live among us. People who move through life on autopilot. People who wake up and go to work, scroll their phones, watch television, go to sleep, and repeat the cycle again tomorrow. Existing, but not truly living. Now, one of the most interesting parts of zombie mythology is the idea that zombies eat brains. In the movies and television shows, zombies are always chasing people, trying to devour their brains. It's grotesque, it's disturbing, but if you think about it metaphorically, something similar happens in real life. There are people in our lives who don't physically eat our brains, but they consume our mental energy. They drain our thoughts. They drain our peace. They drain our emotional capacity. Some of us know exactly what I'm talking about. You answer the phone, and before the conversation is over, you feel exhausted. You leave a conversation and feel like someone just drained the life out of your mind. You walk away thinking, why am I so tired right now? Because there are people who figuratively feed off your brain. They feed on your attention. They feed on your emotional labor. They feed on your ability to listen, advise, fix, and solve problems. And sometimes the people who consume the most of our mental energy are not strangers. Sometimes they are the people who we care about the most. Family members, friends, co-workers, people who consistently bring their crises, their drama, their anxieties, their unresolved issues, and place them on your shoulders. And before long, you realize something important. If you're not careful, you can spend so much time managing everyone else's chaos that you lose clarity in your own life. In zombie movies, the danger is that the zombie eats your brain. In real life, the danger is that someone consumes so much of your mental and emotional energy that you stop thinking clearly for yourself. And that's how people slowly become the walking dead. Not because their brains were eaten physically, but because their mental and emotional capacity has been drained away. There is this inner death of purpose. There's a kind of death that does not stop the heart. It stops meaning. It stops purpose. It stops connection. A person can still breathe, still walk, still talk, and yet feel disconnected from their own life. You hear when someone says, I'm just going through the motions. That's not physical death. That is death of aliveness. When people lose their sense of purpose, hope, or direction, they begin to drift through life like the walking dead. Now, many people today are struggling with what I would call a modern epidemic of emotional and spiritual numbness. I also call it the hope deficit. People are exhausted. They're disconnected. They're lonely. They're burnt out. And the routines of life continues, but the spark is gone. I see it when I talk to people about mental health. I see it when I talk to people that describe their work lives. I see it when people talk about relationships that have lost vitality. They're present, but not awake. And maybe that's why zombie stories resonate with us so much. Because deep down, we recognize something familiar. The greatest danger is not monsters outside of us. The greatest danger is falling asleep inside our own lives. My friend, there is a difference between existing and living. Existing means breathing. Living means having purpose. Existing means passing time. Living means engaging life with intention. Existing means drifting. Living means waking up. And one of the most dangerous things that can happen to a human being is not physical death, it's losing the sense that our life matters. When that happens, people become emotional zombies, moving through life without direction, without joy, without intention. But there's always the possibility of awakening, waking up to life again. People rediscover life when they reconnect with purpose, when they reconnect with community, when they reconnect with their deeper sense of meaning. Sometimes that awakening happens through crisis. Sometimes it happens through reflection. Sometimes it happens when someone asks the right question. What am I really doing with my life? That question alone can wake a person up. Because real life begins when we become conscious again, conscious of who we are, conscious of what matters, conscious of the impact we want to leave in the world. So the next time you hear someone talking about zombies or watch another episode of The Walking Dead, remember this. The real question is not whether zombies exist. The real question is, are we fully alive? Or are we just moving through life on autopilot? Because the greatest transformation that can happen in a human life is this: not surviving, but waking up. Well, my friends, this has been another episode of the Salt Talk with Jermaine Alberty. This conversation made you think? Share it with someone who might need the reminder to wake up and truly live. And remember, stay salty, grace and peace. This is Jermaine Alberty, and you've been listening to the Salt Talk.